Macmillan Audio presents Not for the Faint of Heart by Lex Croucher. Read for you by Kit Griffiths and Olivia Dowd. Give them hell. Author's note. This book takes place in an alternative fantasy timeline, so please don't be alarmed by potatoes and other less delicious inaccuracies, as they are entirely intentional. Also, a word of warning. The journey our characters are about to embark on will, at times, be very perilous.
Chapter 1. The morning the merry men came for old Rosie, Clem was trying to put a hat on a fox. She felt quite bad about this later. At the time, it had seemed important. The fox had become tame enough to take scraps of meat and twists of hide directly from her hand, and putting a hat on him was the next logical step. The construction of said hat had somewhat consumed her morning. She had visited the seamstress over by the river and come away with some soiled felt, unfit for trade. She'd swapped a little sage tea with John, who had a chronic sore throat, for a single turkey feather, just the right size to accessorize a small, vulpine head. She had been waylaid for a while by the miller's boy, Alfred, who was 7 and had scraped both his knees raw, but was being very, very brave about it. His elder sister, Luce, squeezed his hand while Clem blotted his wounds with thinned honey, and then wasted a narrow strip of bandage on him, sending him home a proud, wounded warrior. Rosie always grumbled that Clem was too free with both her compassion and her supplies, but she could hardly argue that they were in dire need right now. Clem's penchant for experimenting was earning her quite the reputation, and had been attracting the sort of customers who paid in actual coin rather than stray bits of ham and pats on the head. They weren't well off by any stretch of the imagination, but tying linen bows on Alfred's bloody knees wasn't going to tip them over into destitution. Shaping the offcut of felt into something hat-shaped had taken a sweet half-hour, sitting with her boots off in a stretch of buttery sunlight in the far reaches of the garden, amongst Rosie's ramshackle beds of mint, soft lavender, and elder. The fox had made a few appearances, poking his head out of the woods to snuffle for treats and glare accusingly at her when none were to be found. He'd chosen the right garden to frequent. Anyone with livestock would have made it their life's mission to see him turned into cloak lining. But Clem and Rosie had been told very firmly by John that their temperaments were ill-suited to the needs of chickens. So Rosie's beds remained eggless, and the fox was free to come and go as he pleased. When Clem had finally reached a hattish conclusion, she fetched a soup bone, still stringy with meat, and offered it up with an enticing wiggle. "Good little lads get hats," she said, not bothering to talk soft or low. This fox was used to her by now, and would only have been suspicious of a gentle cajole. Bad little lads too, I suppose. A hat for every little lad, regardless of temperament. That's my guarantee. The fox seemed indifferent to the concept of hats, but very interested in bone meat. He approached. Clem readied the hat. The fox dithered, sensing a trap. This continued for quite some time. Clem was so engrossed in her task that she didn't notice a knock at the front door, or hoofs on the path.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?